right, everybody, we are back on the Cabral concept. So great to be here with you today. Excited to get into our brand new research for the week. I always love to be able to bring you a book review and a product review or quick tip as well. So today our research is going to be going over a brand new wearable that you're going to start to see come out. It actually works phenomenally well for maybe a lot of the elderly based population or even infants, small children as well. So very cool concept. Check that one out, and that will come towards the end of the show. We also go over the new life expectancy, especially in the Western or US based population, and how there's a larger gap happening between men and women. I'll share with you where that stands. We've got a book review today. I'm doing a lot of research because I shared with you as well that probably in about 12 weeks or so from now, I'll be laying out a very large natural health cancer-based protocol. And with that, I'll be giving reviews of a lot of different books and research. It's going to be quite extensive because for the people going through it, they want obviously as much information as they can get, but also in, I would hope, a very clear and concise manner. So I've got another book for you that was recommended to me. And so why not recommend it to you? It's definitely on my probably top 10, top 12 books for cancer list. What else? And then we have an oldie but a goodie in terms of our product reviews. I gave away my healthy holiday list just over the last week or two, and this item was not on the list, but I think it deserves to be. And so you only need it once. I purchased mine about maybe 10, 15 years ago, and I'm still using it to this day. So you know that it's money well spent. All right, let's dive right into the show. We always give you the updates first. So where we are right now, first week, second week or so in December, for me, this is the mindset of the year of meeting with my team, chatting with IHPs, talking about possibilities for what the next year brings. That's literally where my mind is always at. So I start to have those conversations in late October, early November. And then what I want is basically big idea, big thought, creativity. So what that means with my team and my family as well, my wife is like, where do we want to travel to? Where do we want, our goals for our children? What books do we want, to read or have them to read? What ideas do we want to dive deeper into? What does the next 12 months look for us? For IHP, we're really trying to lay out a roadmap this year. We want to do two things. We want to introduce our new curriculum with HPH, and potentially others as well late in 2024, but you have to plan now a year ahead because these projects are very large. And we also want to help our current IHPs or graduating IHPs start to see more clients in their practice. And that gets them going. Again, we have no incentive to doing that. Just like that, just kind of keep that in mind, is like we take no percentage or anything like that, is we want to see more practitioners out there succeeding and sharing natural health with the world. I mean, that's the goal. So it's like, that's this time of the year. And it's also, besides creativity, that part before the implementation, which is basically end of December or January, it's taking some downtime. And that downtime, yeah, it might still be working. There's no doubt about it. But the work is more on possibility than on maybe productivity. I kind of look at it that way. And so it enables my mind to be a little bit more creative. I do a lot more reading. I've got a bunch of books that are on my list. So in December, I always have like 10 to 12 books that these are the books that I need to get through. Any others, great. But these are the ones that I believe are going to set the tone and inspire me for 2024. And so that's what I do. And then I always have downtime for the family, which is typically like the 10 days off my daughters get from right before Christmas through the new year. And they actually get a few days post New Year, the week after. And so we have a nice little trip planned for the family. And so exciting. All those things are what I look forward to. All right, podcast recap for the week, just in case you may have missed any of them. On Monday's show, why success is a lagging indicator. I love that quote. I think it's phenomenal, and it's going to help you to continue to push forward even when you don't necessarily see the results right away. On Tuesday's show, we went over, have you heard of parole disorder or parole disorder? And parole disorder is basically looking at two specific nutrient deficiencies in the body that can lead to, if they build up over time, schizophrenia, ADD, ADHD, worsening of autism, depression, OCD, and much more. So check out that show. It was a game changer for me when I was in my 20s. I wish I knew it when I was in my teens, even earlier. It really could help children and adults as well. All right, on Wednesday, we went over Basically, what happens if you go lower carb? What do you need to do with your other macros? So we taught you that as well. And that's at stephencabral.com/podcasts. All the shows will be there, all the past shows. And then on yesterday's show, we went over a case study from my private practice. I show you a lab as to what happens when you sometimes, at least sometimes, we know that because we have the lab results of what happens when you use these GLP weight loss based drugs. You want the short-term results, but you definitely do not want these long-term consequences. So again, these are all at stephencabral.com/podcasts. If you ever can't find a show, we'll help you find it. Just write in at cabralsupportgroup.com. All right, product review of the week. It is none other than the old school Trifield EMF Meter. Now, I have reviewed this before, and I will link up to that review at stephencabral.com/2863. But I'm going to link up again. And here's why. Again, I have no affiliation with this company. They're just probably best in the business because I've used 3 other EMF meters, all excellent. They're very good, but this is the one that I keep coming back to. So I know I'm trying to literally do the math in my head. It's been at least 10 years, maybe longer, since I've had this specific EMF meter. Now, this might be my second one because I often lend them out to people and they never make their way back, but that's okay. It's very important, at least, especially when you're moving into a new home or you set up your home, is to use this because I'm going to turn it on for you and it's going to do, again, I'm not an affiliate for this company, but it's going to do all the selling that you need for this product. So I turn it on. You can go with standard, you can go with weighted, you can go with radiomagnetic frequencies or radiation. And so what I like to do is just put it on the electric frequencies. You can do the magnetic as well. And it should be single digit. So if you're watching this on YouTube, we appreciate you. We thank you for being a part of the YouTube community, but you want to look at it. And I'm rating anywhere between an 8 and a 10 near this microphone. It's an 8 right beside the microphone. If I zoom into you can see it on the screen. All right, I got close to my computer and the actual video camera, and it's only a 12. So not too bad. But I'm going to put it close now. I don't keep my phone with me while I'm working at my desk. I think it's very important that you don't keep it right on you. But let me try it out near my computer. All right, not too bad. But if I was to plug in my computer, let's see if you can hear this. So this is a big thing, and I try to share it. A lot of other practitioners do as well. When you plug in a device, whether it's your phone, an iPad, a computer, I don't know if you can hear that. I'll put my microphone up to it. It is registering 83 right now. And so that's far from single digits. So you can hear, now this is 120, 235 right at the base of my computer. 332, 288, which is super high readings. So what does that mean? Well, it means that anyone that places their laptop on their lap or near their groin or on their abdomen is getting a very large dose of electric magnetic field or frequencies, however you want to use the EMF, the F in that. So my recommendation is this. When you're working on your computer, you can see me, I'm at a 5 right now, and I keep myself I'm right now about 16 inches to almost 2 feet from my computer. So you're able to work at a computer without getting those EMFs. One, don't keep it charged and plugged in. If you do, keep it further away from your body. That goes for all devices. And also, you can put a blanket or a pad, which I'm going to link to you at this podcast here today, to block a lot of those EMFs. I use it on my phone. I use it on laptops. I use it on all devices for myself and my daughter. So you can go around your house. You can basically test for all different high levels of electromagnetic frequencies. Honestly, anything above double digits, you don't want to be exposing yourself to, especially when you're sleeping at night. So test your bedroom, test all around your bed where you're going to be sleeping. All right. So hopefully that was helpful. I'll link it up. I just think that every home should have one of these. It's going to bring to light a lot of things that you didn't know were there. And if you're not worried about EMFs, I don't like to be someone that overly fearmongers. That's why I don't use this all the time. I use it and then I forget about it, meaning like I make sure that no one's exposed to these high levels of electromagnetic frequencies because they can damage your DNA. All right. That is that. So next up, that is our product review of the week. I also want to go over a book by Kelly A. Turner, PhD. This was a New York Times bestseller. A lot of people know, especially the IHPs and those in high performance health, that I'm going to be writing a rather large, I don't know the best way to phrase it. Like, I'll just call it a paper, or blog doesn't really do it service because it's going to be all research based, but let's just call it an article or a paper. That's all. And my goal is to share this with people all around the world for free. Of course, it can't be medical advice or anything like that. But I've been reading, I probably read, I don't know, maybe 100 books or so on cancer, and not just cancer itself, but on the different modalities that people have used beyond chemotherapy, radiation, and surgery. It's not that I'm saying there may not be a time and place for those, and I'll be talking about that and what it may work best with, but there's also a lot more that goes into this. And so this book is called Radical Remission: Surviving Cancer Against All Odds. And this reason why this book was a little bit different is it's the 9 key factors that can make a real difference. And so someone also recommended the documentary Healing. Now, I haven't watched that yet. I'll probably watch it, so I can't give you a good yes or no on that. But I believe they also go through like 8 or 9 different modalities to healing. So it's interesting when you look at this, it doesn't get as deep as when I talk about my de-stress protocol, but it goes through these 9 factors. And I'm actually going to name them for you. And if it preaches to you, or if it talks to you, if it connects with you, you may want to read this book. So, radically changing your diet, taking control of your health, following your intuition, using herbs and supplements, releasing suppressed emotions, increasing positive emotions, embracing social support, deepening your spiritual connection, having a strong reason or reasons for living. Those are the 9. Each one chapter is dedicated to all of them. It's about 280 pages, the book. And I believe that not only is it important for cancer, but for all hard to treat dis-ease of the body. So I found it to be a fascinating book. There's excellent stories in it. Dr. Turner has been doing this for quite some time, and it wasn't even the original interest in her career. What happens is she was just exposed to all of these spontaneous healings from cancer, and the doctors never knew why, the oncologists, and she would begin to ask all the oncologists that she could meet during her basically her PhD days. And she said, have you ever met with someone that was given no hope for recovery or survival, and yet they recovered? And she said, without fail, every single one of these oncologists had met a type of person like that. And they said, do you know why they healed? And they said, no, we do not. And they could just give their best guess. So Kelly spent basically her life looking through her career, looking through why all of these cases, hundreds to thousands of cases of people have healed, even with stage 4 terminal-based cancer. And she came up with these 9 reasons. This is what people had in common. So it's an interesting book. I mean, it really is. And I want to share it with you. So here you are. It's called Radical Remission: Surviving Cancer Against All Odds. And I will link that up at stephencabral.com/2863. All right, let's get into our research for the week. So, although I'm someone who likes to focus on the positive and how we as humans are expanding and we're growing and we're improving, I can't say that in terms of the health of our population, especially in the Western-based world. And I just want to read this to you. Life expectancy in the U.S. dropped in 2021 to 76.1 years, falling from 78.8 years in 2019 and 77 years in 2020. So why do I share that with you? And you can't just blame it on, the virus and all those things, is because we've been seeing, honestly, we've been seeing a dip. And I hope that this changes, but it's predicted that, believe it or not, children born today won't have lived as long as maybe their grandparents lived. And that is with us spending more and more every year on so-called healthcare. Although I think we all know that it's really sick care, it's palliative care, it's pharmaceutical care, right? And it's not on health. It's more on keeping people alive longer. But that doesn't mean necessarily that they're healthy. And this latest study, which just came out 13 days ago, out of the University of California, San Francisco, it says that we've known this for more than a century, that women outlive men. But new research shows that, at least in the United States, the gap has been widening for more than a decade. So in a research paper published in November 2023 in JAMA Internal Medicine, the authors found that the difference between how long American men and women live increased to 5.8 years in 2021, the largest it's been since 1996. This is an increase from 4.8 years in 2010, when the gap was at its smallest in recent history. So this was interesting to me. I know I keep using the word interesting because all of this is very fascinating to me. It really is. So we're typically told that average life expectancy for men is around 74 years, and for women it's around 77. For men it has been 75, and for women it has been 78. That was back in like 2019, as they stated, almost all the way up to 79, but not quite. So what they don't show, though, again, are these averages where the gap, when we're looking at this, could be as great, instead of 3 years, as 6 years for women outliving men. And so when they looked at this prior to the pandemic. They looked at this prior to all of different viral issues, because men were more susceptible than women, no doubt about that. But what they found beyond all of that, and this was actually pre-pandemic, is the largest contributors were really heart disease. This was the biggest one. So men die, unfortunately, at a far greater rate of heart disease than women. And they're looking into why, but they don't know yet. They just don't. And so that's why in my practice, we're so big on early testing. We're big on preventative-based care. We're big on balancing omega-6s to omega-3 levels. We're big on exercise. We're big on looking at the heart, the arteries, like all of these different things. And we're big on not pretending that it's okay to have super high cholesterol. Like, yes, you may be fine, but also you may not be, and you're more likely to not be fine than you are if you have a lot of inflammation in your arteries, as well as high levels of cholesterol. So we just want to be cautious with that. We always want to err on the side of caution. And I believe all practitioners should first do no harm. So if there's potential harm for high levels of increased risk with high levels of cholesterol, I think we have to be cautious with saying that it's okay. That's my opinion, but it's shared by a lot of cardiologists and that I try to learn from as well. Okay, besides heart disease, though, there is a greater issue also with diabetes and accidents or unintentional injuries amongst men. So those are big factors. That absolutely matters. Now, when we go down a bit, what has increased over the last decade, unfortunately, is suicide and homicide, specifically mentioned in the article from mental health-based imbalances or disorders. So it's my job is just to get out there to men and say, it's okay to seek out therapy. It's okay to seek out second, third, and fourth opinions. It's okay to have and feel like there might be a mental health-based imbalance, and to seek out both the natural and a conventional medicine to look at what you need at this moment in time. So I just wanted to share that because certainly we want to make sure that men and women are thriving well into their 70s, 80s, and beyond, and not having to deal with a lot of these health-based issues. Okay, now the second research for today, I found this fascinating. Instead of interesting, we'll use the word fascinating. So brand new wearables are now being tested to capture body sounds to continuously monitor health. This was wild. Now, I've been talking about this for years. I'm not going to create a wearable, so I've been trying to get that out there to people for the last decade. I believe the wearable of the future will not be this ring I'm wearing or this watch I'm wearing or a chest strap or anything like that. Literally, it's going to be stickers. It's going to be tabs. It's going to be something. Someone like me, I don't want an ingestible. I don't want to put a robot or microchip inside of my body. That's just me. Might be good for you. I'm okay with that. I like that we live in a free society and you get to choose. I just don't want to have to be microchipped. It's just not what I'm interested in, especially after I just reviewed the Trifield EMF Meter, right? I want to be able to turn off those EMFs. And so, but what I am interested in is being able to monitor my body at a much greater degree. And so I believe that the devices that they're looking at now are going to be pivotal, not just for someone like myself who's healthy and just want to maximize health and overall life, right? But there are very specific populations who need this. So, for example, infants or babies where you're monitoring heart rate, or you're monitoring digestion or body temperature changes. I mean, this could be pretty remarkable, especially for children born and they were born and there was something wrong and they had to be in the NICU for a while. And I just had a friend, and a really good friend of mine. And wouldn't it be amazing if maybe not forever, but a week after they leave the hospital, that they get to monitor their baby's lungs or digestion or anything, right? Just from the sounds of the baby's making, right? The other population, I think that this is critical, are elderly people living alone, or elderly people not necessarily getting the care that they need. And so what if we're able to track the actual sounds from their body, what it's making? Because this is not sci-fi. This is actually being done right now. It's correlating with proper heart rhythm, with blood pressure, with digestion, and so much more, even brainwave activity. So there is a brand new field that's going to be burgeoning over this next decade that is all about wearables. And so yes, all the big players, Apple Watch and Garmin and Aura and Fitbit and who else, Whoop, all those companies are going to continue to keep morphing to be able to monitor more and more. That would be potentially leading to better health outcomes, and for me, more preventative-based healthcare. So that is it for today's show. I appreciate you, as always, for tuning into the Cabral Concept. Do feel free to share this show with anyone you believe it can serve, and don't forget, I'm back every single weekend answering 10 to 12 of our community's questions. Don't miss it. Head on over to stephencabral.com/podcasts for all the archived shows. Take care. Thanks so much for tuning into today's show. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I want to make sure that you're getting our daily content, not missing out on anything functional medicine, wellness, weight gain, weight loss, anti-aging, living longer, stronger, and all of the most cutting-edge research. And if there's any topics you want to hear, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Take care.